Defenders, I don't know, man. It's just he never fails to disappoint. Like with his workouts, and he's got the most unconventional workout, and it's just, dude, it never shows. It never pays off.
Yeah, and he looks like he's like 7, but he's like
he does like
30-year-old body. Like when you look at him, I'm like, yo, this guy looks like a little tiny kid, and I don't know why, but it just makes me laugh. It makes me really happy.
It makes me happy too, knowing that he's still out there filming the shit and putting it online, knowing he's getting dogged every time for it, and his play is no better because of it.
He has to be doing it on purpose. No,
I mean, I guess all press is good press, right?
Maybe, I guess. Well, on today's Stuff About Sports, we're going to talk about Carl Nassib. We're going to talk, obviously, the NBA. I'm still licking my wounds from the Philadelphia 76ers going out against those Atlanta Hawks. And then we're going to do something big, man. We're going to do another countdown, another top five gingers in honor of the Red Velvet, or I guess it's just Red Velvet, Kevin Huerter. But yeah, so we're gonna talk the top 5 gingers in sports history. Who makes the list? Find out next.
Sports.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stuff About Sports. I am the Facebook felon Jerm. That is the prettier Corey. Bert, what's up, man?
What's up? Yeah, it was kind of weird because we didn't do a show last week because we did the Saturday show, and we didn't do a show, I guess, during the week before because we were doing the Saturday show. So it almost feels like we've been off a minute, even though I know it hasn't been that long. I don't know. It's timing wise, it's weird, but I'm glad to be back in the seat.
Yeah, this is nice. It was nice being in the studio with you on Saturday.
Yeah, that was
yeah, that was awesome. We didn't do the show the prior week because we knew we were going to be doing it Saturday, and we wanted it to be special. We had the rebrand, and then obviously there was no point of doing it last Tuesday because we just had one 2 or 3 days prior. So
yeah,
but like you said, it's good to be back. What's up, Brandon? Long time viewer and supporter of this show. Trisha, of course, part of the network, and of course, K-Pal. What up, man?
You're insane.
Yo, the coolest studio producer we might have ever had, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he did his job well, tipping us off about I forget what's that dude that was sending off against Andy Reid now.
Just completely Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, thank you. Completely left my mind. Yeah.
This guy's a bum. So before we get started, I just wanted to point everybody out to the shirt that I'm wearing because it is still Pride Month. But it doesn't mean just because Pride Month is ending that you don't have to support your LGBTQ plus friends and family. So here at the Give Us a Shot Network, we felt it was necessary to have our Pride shirt available on giveusashot.network/shop. All the proceeds, we don't make a dime off this shirt. We just want you to buy it because every penny is going to go to an LGBT cause, suicide prevention, counseling, whatever they want to use the money for. They know better than we do what they need it for. But we want to give it to them. So if you want to donate, but you want a cool shirt out of it, then head on over to the shop and you can get yours today.
That's all going to the Trevor Project, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and other causes. We have a bunch of people lined up that want to be lined up with it. So we definitely want to spread the wealth. Glad Trevor Project, so on and so forth. So.
Yeah, we don't make any money off of it. It's all going back to the community, which is incredibly important.
Very important. Very important. Thank you, Trisha. We appreciate it. Trisha got a whole closet, man. We might as well send her one of those
give a shot wardrobe to her.
Yeah. She supports the network, so we got to support her. So shout out the Mets extremists to all of my Mets fans, my Mets brethren out there. So, Bert, where would you like to begin? I have a feeling that you want to put me in some pain.
Well, let me just update hockey real quick because the last time we spoke, it was right before basically the semifinals were about to go off. So, the Lightning, not your favorite, they're up 3-2 against the Islanders. They play tomorrow night. They could close the game out, or it could go back and forth like the series has completely, and the Islanders force a Game 7. Man, I gotta tell you, both series are very close because even the Canadiens Vegas series is notched at 2 apiece. They play tonight to see who's going to take the lead for that, but I mean they're playing a 3-game series right now. So honestly, this is probably the most exciting semifinals I've watched in a while, where it could honestly go either way. Me personally, I would love to see a Vegas Tampa Bay, with Vegas taking it because Tampa Bay just won it last year, so share the wealth. But and I talked about this the last time. I wouldn't be surprised that if Tampa Bay does make it past the Islanders, if they don't just run away with it again. But
listen, I have to support the Vegas Knights. They are my adopted team until next year.
Until the Kraken, yeah.
Yep, until the Kraken gets here. So shout out to the Vegas Golden Knights, the coolest name in hockey, coolest uniforms in hockey.
Hell yeah. So, yeah, dude, they got the gold buckets, man. They got even nice. their alternate sweater too, all gold. They are doing Vegas right by just interjecting as much of that city into their arena, their jerseys, like everything. It's just, I mean, they're doing, and honestly, the city loves them. They're packing them out every single night. And yes, I get it, it's a playoff game, but these fans are they're ripping it. They're supporting the team. They are absolutely going nuts for everything. You can't ask for a better adoption of a hockey team in a city like that. Like, honestly, it's so nice to see that happen when, obviously warmer weather, some other desert cities out there may not have the same attendance. The Phoenix has been wrestling with it for a while, but to see that go off in Vegas is absolutely great.
Carl Nassib is out in a second. Oh my gosh, man. This is not good, man. We were on a roll. But listen, we're like 4 or 5 games up, so it'll be all right. Thor's coming back. Yep, LFGM. Everybody knows. Kareem Meekins, let's talk about it.
Let's go. We may as well dive into it.
Listen, before we get there, when we talk about Vegas, we'll get to the NBA in a minute. There's some talks, Bert, about the Pelicans already relocating. Their lease is up in 2024, where then they can uproot the team and move it somewhere. A lot of people are going to clamor for Seattle. However, pump the brakes. While Seattle would be awesome, Vegas, with the success of the Raiders being there, obviously we're talking about the Golden Knights. I would think the NBA would rather put a team in Vegas before they have the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA. They have major sports there already. I know Seattle has all the major sports except basketball, but I think they've already had their shot in the NBA's eyes. I think Vegas is a bigger, stronger market for them for that. So would you be interested to see them do Vegas or Seattle?
Vegas, 100%. And that just goes from the success that they've had in the past with the Raiders and the Golden Knights. And just, dude, Vegas as a city has made all the right moves with potential sports teams and moving in and just building it out. It honestly just was like the adult playhouse for the longest time. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Go there, gamble, see some shows, drink, go by the pool, party. But now, especially with the huge boom in sports gambling and how trendy that is now, people are going out there to not only bet on sports, but also go and see their live sports too. I mean, if you think about it, I would argue it's very similar to a sense in terms of like people go to New York City, obviously, because it's, the city never sleeps, greatest city in the world, what have you. But while they're there, rest assured, they're going to do all the touristy shit. See a Yankees game, go to Times Square. But now the same thing is happening to Vegas. You go to Vegas, you want to go to the pool, you want to go to the club, you want to play a little bit, that's fine. But guess what? With more sports teams there, no matter what, I mean, aside from baseball, you're going to be in some type of sports season. So I would say from September all the way through to June, arguably, you'd be able to see a sports game. So that leaves you a 2-month window where you won't be able to in the middle of the summer when it's hot as balls anyways. But so I think, honestly, it should go to Vegas, and it's going to do nothing but continue to do great things for that city, plain and simple.
Another venue for Vegas to have events, another venue for Vegas to have shows while, you have the Black Hole or the Death Star, or whatever they're calling it out there. And then obviously the Golden Knights Arena, and then possibly the new NBA arena that they would have. So
would they build a separate arena or just play where the Knights are?
Then you have to go. I mean, as far as Vegas goes for money, I would just build another.
They have the land. You may as well, right? In
the middle of a fucking desert. I mean, they got plenty of space.
Oh yeah.
So all right, I'm getting hounded on the text machine, Bert. And
on your cellular device.
On my cellular device, I have a Hawks fan that has been talking shit to me, calling me late at night.
I bet he just started texting you too. Like he wasn't saying shit all season.
The moment we went live, and he said, "The Hawks are the superior team in the Eastern Conference."
Well, technically they are. Technically,
he said Ben Simmons can build a house with all the bricks he's been shooting.
Not wrong with that.
He said Kevin Huerter is the greatest white basketball player to ever live.
Some would disagree.
The greatest nickname in all of basketball, Red Velvet. And I kind of have to agree with him. I like the Red Velvet name.
I do like the Red Velvet. Yeah,
it's awesome. Pride of Maryland. He's a terrapin. He can shoot the lights out. He got some handles. But yeah, Bert, things did not play out the way we wanted to in the land of Philadelphia. We had the number 1 seed. Here we go. Yep, you know it. So I was talking trash all season. The Hawks, for a little bit of backstory, did not start off the season well. They only won 29 games last year. They actually took a Sixers assistant coach, which doesn't help my argument, as their head coach, and he did awful. And then next thing you know, they hired Nate McMillan, who was fired from Indiana, and all of a sudden they go on like a 35-15 run and end up with the 5 seed and play their way through the playoffs and to the semifinals in the playoffs and beat the Sixers in 7 games. In a series where Ben Simmons not only refused to basically shoot the ball, just was flat out scared. I've never seen it, Bert. A guy of his talent, just flat out, you could watch the confidence leaking from his body every game, every possession. I've never seen it. A guy, he should be
not in basketball, at least.
Not in basketball. And listen, I'm not one of these like must shoot Nazi people who've, Ben Simmons is not a shooter and he never was. There are clips of him shooting in pickup games in summer league. That's fine, but he's not a shooter. That's not the main part of his game. However, Bert, the league average in free throws is 73%. This guy shot 34%. I mean, you can't do it, Bert.
No.
Every game we've lost by a margin where Ben Simmons' free throws would have made the difference. Now, I know that's a bit unfair, but at the end of the day, math is math. You have to hit your free throws. You have to be better than 30%, especially a guy who doesn't take jump shots, who gets to the line, can get to the rim when he wants. You're going to shoot free throws, and you can't shoot 30%.
Dude, I get it's, it may be unfair, but you're right, math is math. But on top of that, do your job. As a teammate, you have a role to play, and whether that role is maybe just be stronger defensively, and if you're not a shooter, and other people are going to pick up the slack, so the least you can do is hit your free throws. Those should be, honestly, and I'm not a basketball guy, so if someone wants to argue with me, that's fine. In my eyes, free throws should be gimmies. Yeah. Like if there's one thing you should practice on, look, there's nobody in your face. It's just you, and I could make it worse at times too. But like those should be points, plain and simple. And especially if you're not picking up other aspects of your game, you have to hit those because that could be all the difference. And no, we're not saying it's completely on him, but sure as shit didn't help. And to see a guy literally scared to shoot, that just tells you right there he's not a high pressure player, and that Philly should basically sell him, plain and simple.
Yeah. Once the prisoner of the moment happened to pass me, I thought about it all day. So Brandon DeWitt, just the story I've told it. Everybody remember, I told this story about a year ago. Ben Simmons, after his rookie season, him and Jason Tatum were invited to Kobe. Kobe personally invited them to work out, just them two. Jason Tatum said, yeah, sure, I'm coming. Ben Simmons said, no, I'm good. I'm going to go hang out with Kendall Jenner. And that's exactly what he chose to do. It was that moment, Bert, that I said, man, this guy is not a star. He's not a franchise player. He's too immature to do it.
Dude, imagine blowing off Kobe for a Kardashian.
Oh, my gosh. It's
and not just like arguably the greatest basketball player or one of the greatest basketball players of all time, known for his work ethic and obviously his championships and just, instant Hall of Fame. And it's just like, no, like rookie, like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go get some tail. Like bro. Like at that point, you're absolutely right. Like you don't deserve
overrated
it.
Tale too. I don't know. These NBA players and these Kardashians. I mean,
I don't get it.
Kareem Meekins wants me to say that Kevin Huerter is not a role player. He is an absolute star. Absolutely, Meeks. He is he's the best. He's the best player on the Atlanta Hawks roster. Trae Young, who? So they get the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, now Cam Reddish is hurt, one of their better players. DeAndre Hunter's hurt, one of their bigs, and Bogdan Bogdanovic, no relation to the Jazz, Bojan Bogdanovic. But these guys are hurt. Milwaukee's relatively healthy. Yeah, the Hawks beat the Sixers, but it seemed more fluky than anything. Ben Simmons just completely melting down doesn't add up compared to how they played in the regular season and how they played all year. And the Greek Freak's there, Drew Holiday's there, Chris Middleton. I don't see the Hawks. I mean, they could probably get a game. I mean, the Bucks have been beating them all season, so we'll see. We'll see.
You don't think Bucks in 4?
I'll respect the Hawks enough to give them at least one game. I think they're riding high. They know they're not supposed to be here.
Look, man,
Meekins, that's
at this
absolutely
point,
not true.
Anything can happen, plain and simple.
Yes, he is. And here's the difference between Giannis. Okay, I'll say this. You're right. They are similar in terms of their freakishly elite abilities outside of offense, outside of shooting, I'll say. However, the difference between them two is that the Greek Freak actively works on his game. He will take 45 minutes to shoot a free throw, but at least he's trying. He's working on things. He will take a jumper, and he'll miss, but guess what? He's not scared to take it. Ben Simmons was scared to take shots. That's why he blew out. I mean, everybody's seen it by now, Bert. He passed up an open dunk, and you can't do, because he was, you know why? Because he was scared that he was going to get fouled. He was scared that he was going to get go to the free throw line, and he didn't want to have to take those shots. Acapella, Clint Capella. I'll tell you one thing, Meekins. I'll give Kevin Huerter all the props in the world. I'll give Trae Young some props, even though he's the second best player on that team. But there's no way you're going to come at me with Clint Capella after Embiid was abusing him all series. Clint Capella, overrated now. And everybody knows it. I don't know. Trae was hurt when we played. I have a excuse. I'm in the results business, not the excuse making business. Okay, no excuses. So we have that series, and then tonight, I believe we have the NBA draft lotteries on. I'm not really interested in that because the lottery is the lottery. John Collins, he says, properly rated. He's okay. He's good. The Suns and the Clippers, man. Playoff P is back. I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. It's funny. It's like, and the irony hasn't escaped me that Reggie Jackson has done something that Chris Paul could never do. Take the Clippers to the Western Conference Finals, while Chris Paul is actively doing something that he's always accustomed to doing and not playing in the Western Conference Finals because of COVID. It's the irony has not escaped me, man. It's unbelievable.
Oh, man. Dude, I think, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? You were like, playoff P is a bust. Like, I think every other week you just wave back and forth. You just flip flop and see what it is. But hey, you know, they're without him, but still winning, right? You know, so look,
without Kawhi Leonard, yeah. So Kawhi Leonard's hurt because of his knee. They're calling it a knee sprain. I think it's a little bit more serious than that, but we'll see. But hey, with Paul George, I mean, he's been preseason P. You know, first off, you can't call yourself playoff P and you haven't been out of the first round. That's ridiculous. But I'll be honest, he's earning it, man. He's earning it. These last couple series, these last couple games, he's been balling, and the Clippers are winning. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Kawhi Leonard,
game 2 tonight, right?
Comes back. Yep, they play at 9 o'clock tonight.
See if I stay up.
And Paul George is trash. Apparently not. He's not trash. He took out the Dallas Mavericks in the second coming in Luka Doncic, and he's coasting on along. And they beat whoever they beat the last round, and then here we go. You know what I mean? Like they're in the Western Conference Finals, and it's because of Paul George. So I'm not going to sit there and call him trash.
It would be tough to sit here and call honestly anybody who's still left trash. I mean, yes, you don't have to like their game, but at the same point too, I mean, like the Atlanta just beat the Sixers. We can't sit here and say that they're a trash team and they shouldn't be there. They're obviously there grinding away. So
yeah. So yeah, that's that. Now, all right, Bert. Let's stick. So we talked NBA. Let's do some NFL in the Carl Nassib news. Okay.
Sure.
Carl Nassib, defensive end for the Oakland Raiders, or I'm sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders. I keep doing that. I'm still going to do it. Comes out on Instagram of all places. I mean, because that's where the kids are doing it now. Comes out and just flatly says, "Hey guys, I'm gay. Thanks for all the support." Blah 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 blah. Bunch of NFL players, Saquon Barkley, bunch of his teammates, a lot of people came out and supported him.
Yeah, Derek called him and said, "Hey, I support you. I love you," which is incredibly important. It's good to hear that it's. I mean, look, as an ally to that community, you always want things to be receptive, but I mean, football hasn't been receptive to many differences, despite the fact that they all play together, and we're talking race and other backgrounds too. So you always have those players out there in itself, but I mean, so far. I mean, look, super happy that, Nassib felt comfortable enough to come out to his teammates, to the league, to the world on his own terms. And honestly, everybody's coming out to support, which is something you like to see, especially in sports. They honestly should be for everybody all around. But since, and I don't know if you were going to get to this, but since the news of him coming out, his jersey has been selling like wildfire in the past 24 hours.
Yesterday and today, right? He did have the top selling jersey in the NFL. I mean,
top selling jersey off of Fanatics. Yeah. And on top of that, once he came out, he pledged actually $100,000 to the Trevor Project, which is a phenomenal organization. And the NFL announced today that they're going to match the $100,000 donation too. So the NFL is behind it as well. This is what you like to see in sports, man.
Brandon says, "Where was this same support for the one guy who played for Dallas?" And I think you mean he also played for Dallas, and Michael Sam. Everybody keeps bringing up Michael Sam. Now, the difference is Michael Sam came out before he was drafted.
Yeah,
and he wasn't he never. I don't even think he played an actual game. Like, I don't even think he ever made the main roster. He played in some preseason games, no, or did he play?
I honestly think he was on a starting roster for 1 year, and this is me just off of a vague recollection. But I don't know how much time he saw. I'd have to go back and look it up.
Now, he wasn't very good. I mean, people can draw their own conclusions to why. I mean, I know once he came out before he was actually drafted, there were some conspiracy theories of why his draft stock dropped, and teams were scared of how that would affect the locker room. The difference here is this guy came out already playing an active. This is like, Russell Westbrook or somebody, you know what I mean? Like, or PJ Tucker, So not to call them out for whatever reason. They're the names that just came to my head first.
Someone who's established and has been playing too. Yes. So, yeah. Right.
So this is different because he's been hiding it. Michael Sam came out not hiding it. This is a guy who's already infiltrated. Now, nobody's under the disillusion. There's plenty of gay people playing in the NFL right now.
Carl, there has to be.
It's just just by the probability.
Law of averages at this point. Yeah, I mean, you would have to assume, and not just football, all of sports.
Yes,
hockey,
all of sports.
Baseball, basketball. Like it's absolutely out there. And I mean, look, we can go back and we can say like you mentioned, like some people had conspiracy theories about why Michael Sam's draft stock dropped. And I got to be honest with you, I believe it. I believe that there were teams that were scared what that would do from a position
100%.
standpoint, that the league was. I mean, let's be honest here. We're talking about a league that was so intolerant just 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or, whatever it was with the whole national anthem snafu and people losing their minds. And just like, even this past year when Drew Brees came out and said, obviously the statements he made that ended up hurting teammates. And Roger Goodell just finally came out and said, hey, I was wrong all along. Like, it really isn't about the anthem. So like, I would absolutely 100% believe that Michael Sam's, that's his name, right? I just forget it. Really quick.
Michael Sam.
Okay, yeah. Michael Sam's draft stock dropped as a result of his announcement, which is completely sad. But on the flip side of it, when you did evaluate his play later on, it wasn't the best in itself all around. Now, I mean, who knows why that was? I mean, he was a great college player all around. But yeah, you're right. Look, Nassib he's established, but now he's out, and looking forward to seeing him continue his NFL career and play some more.
So his direct quote is, "What's up, people? I'm at my house here in Westchester, Pennsylvania. I just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest. I really have the best life. I have the best family. I have the best friends, job, anything a guy could ask for. I'm a pretty private person, so I hope you guys know that I'm really not doing this for attention. I just think that representation and visibility are so important. I actually hope that one day videos like this and the whole coming out process are just not necessary." And that's when he said, "I'll donate, $100,000 to Trevor Project." So, of course, you'll have the influx of support, and of course, you'll have the doofs out there making a bunch of jokes, like the losers they are, and then you have the people who, and it kind of bothers me, Bert, the people that say, "Why is this news? This isn't a big deal. So what if he's gay?" It's kind of a big deal. It's it's kind of, Carl Nassib is a good football player. That's the one thing that's escaping everybody. Michael Sam, he was okay. He was a good college player, but he wasn't a good pro. I mean, I think he would have made that if he was good.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think if Michael Sam didn't do what he did, I don't think we would get Carl Nassib today. I think that stuff correlates.
I mean, what the sad part is in all of this, the only reason why people are comparing the two and why we're comparing the two is because other people are talking about it. It's because everybody's going, "Oh, well, what happened? He came out, this isn't anything. Why is this news? Why is this that?" So now we're talking about it and ultimately comparing like they are, like, what's the difference when honestly we should be comparing them.
I'm really glad you got that and not some other things that it could.
No, that was I had a webpage, like an ESPN article that started playing randomly. It was up for like 15 minutes. Anyways, what's bothering me is people keep bringing it up. So now, including us, now we're talking about two athletes that happen to be gay. And when we honestly, we should be comparing Nassib to other NFL players because it shouldn't matter what your background or your sexual orientation or anything else like that. But the second this happens, everybody's like, well, what about so-and-so? What about this? And immediately compare situations. And why is this news? Because it is a big deal. It is an NFL player that is well established, decided to come out on his terms, and he made the announcement. It should be picked up. And he announced that he's giving back to charity. Let's look at it's Pride Month right now. He wanted to come out because he wants to say representation matters, because this may actually help other individuals in the same situation as him that could be, gay or a part of the LGBTQ plus community that are playing in the NFL right now. And maybe they want to also feel comfortable with themselves and come out and stop living underneath, some type of, cloak, and they just want to literally be themselves and be out with it and just live their everyday life because, living in the closet could be some sort of burden for them in itself. So that's why this is news and that's why this is huge. And I support it 100%. And the NFL is on board with it and backing them, which is great to see. And the jersey sales are up. So people are obviously, really receptive to it. And honestly, like I said, this is what you want to see in sports. And he's right. You hope he gets to a stage where this doesn't need to be made. It's just normal. It's just you go through it. It's just people are people. But until then, let's keep up in the representation. Plain and simple. Let's have everybody, be able to feel comfortable with themselves to play whatever game they want to play.
Kareem Meekins, I would think that you'd be used to gay players playing actively because you are a Cowboys fan. So I thought that would
no.
Oh, sorry.
No, actually, go flash that comment up again because he actually made a really good point. Said the only thing that matters to me is if you can play, and I 100% agree with that. And the NHL ran a campaign a couple years ago, and if you can play, you can play, and that was the bottom line. If your skills are there to play, go ahead and play. Nothing else should matter. Plain and simple.
I do think we are turning a corner when it comes to Michael Sam in here. When this came out, I was scared to go on social media, Bert. I really was. But the strides we're making, like we're in our 30s, right? When we were 20 years ago, when we were kids, it was forbidden to be gay. And then, 10 years ago, it was like, it wasn't okay to be gay and married. Like, you know what I mean? Like we've made so many strides from where they were in the 90s, late 90s, to now, it's the fact that a guy could just openly come out and say it. Now, obviously this isn't, it's just one guy, right? Like, we need more. Like I want to make it to the point, and I wish I could live to see the day where there's no gay bars, right? It's just bars and gay people and straight people can show up together. I get that they want a place for themselves, but that's only there because they don't feel comfortable being around.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, that's a whole separate conversation because that's there because that's their safe space. Right. Because unfortunately,
and I think that's what I meant. I don't know if
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, that's their safe space. That's where they can feel comfortable and go. And unfortunately, there are idiots out there that ruin it. Ruin every other bar for them if they go out. If the fear of being judged or God forbid anything else that they have to worry about, of course. And also depending on what state and what areas you live in too. And you're right. I mean, look. I'm in my mid 30s at this point, and I thankfully grew up in a household that was very open to different backgrounds. So I grew up with the knowledge of just obviously treating individuals like people, plain and simple, no matter what color they are or what their sexual orientation is. It is what it is. But there are other individuals out there that are our age that see things completely differently, and they are against certain things. But obviously the activism is out there, and individuals. Like Nassib, who's coming out and obviously showing other individuals that they can be comfortable with themselves and continuing to support and support the community. And, hopefully we'll get to a stage where, again, it's just fine. It's great, and, nobody has any problems with it, but that's going to take a while. And, I'm thankful, at least in my lifetime, to see all of the great effort that's been put forward where, you can get married in certain states now and you can live your life normally like everybody else.
Yeah, it's just nice to see how public discourse has changed from Michael Sam and then and that was like 2013, 14, 15, somewhere around there. And then, to teams like, oh, they may not draft him, and then he gets drafted late. Yeah. But the reaction I've seen from this has just been overwhelmingly supportive and positive. And I think it's just optimism for me for the future in sports. So you said that really well. And I will leave it there. All right, Bert, this is what people came to see, man. It's time.
It's the top 5.
Top 5 gingers in sports history. Now, we talked about Kevin Huerter, Red Velvet.
Red Velvet.
So I will start it off because I don't want any more drama.
Number 5.
Kevin Huerter, Red Velvet. I mean, he has to make the list just of what he's accomplished. Off of the NBA playoffs in Game 7, and if he's just a shining star in the sky that comes and goes and we never hear from him again, he'll at least have this. So at my number 5, Kevin Huerter.
Damn, man, you sold out. I mean, yes, he was the inspiration for this, but I wouldn't give him a top 5 of all time spot. Are you kidding me?
I have to. He beat my Sixers, man, in Game 7. All right, number 1 seed.
That's fair. But for me, I had to go with a very inspirational individual who a lot of people forget. He was at one point a competitive, sports competitor, if you will, and that's Mr. Chuck Norris. Everybody, Walker, Texas Ranger, karate master, and competed in competitive karate, which is why he's on my sports ginger list. And not to mention the Total Gym. What's more athletic? What is more peak performance than the Total Gym?
That is unbelievable. Chuck Norris never crossed my mind because I don't know why. He might be, I'm surprised he's your number 5. He has to be number 1. He has to be. So
you'll see who it was tough. It was tough.
It was tough. All right. Number 4 on my list still in the world of basketball. Okay.
Number 4.
I have to go with maybe the greatest nickname for a white player, the greatest white nickname. Only one person can match. Kobe Bryant is up here as the Black Mamba. So, of course, there has to be a yin to his yang. And that's the White Mamba. Brian Scalabrine, NBA champion.
Wow.
Yeah, Brian Scalabrine, the YMCA legend. He will never dies. Listen, Bert, just because you may not be as physically gifted, your cultural contribution has to make sense. Brian Scalabrine, his name rings bells, and that's why he has to be on my list.
Okay. I actually, so I went with a NASCAR driver for number 4, and that's Dale Earnhardt Jr. I mean, yes, I'll recognize it as a sport and being in a competitive nature. And, we've covered NASCAR before from time to time. So I'm going to give it to Dale Earnhardt in my number 4 spot. Certainly an accomplished driver.
Meekin says Chase Budinger. That is a good one. Give us your gingers, your top gingers in sports history. Chase Budinger. He could jump out the gym, man. I remember Chase Budinger. He played for the Brooklyn Nets back before everybody jumped on their balls, before everybody when they left Jersey and became Brooklyn, and they had a really, really bad team. I think KJ McDaniels was on that team, and nobody remembers who that is. But yeah. So number 3, Bert. I'm going to take, because I used to play the game with him all the time, and I literally bought the video game for him.
Number 3.
And that's Shaun White, Olympic gold medalist.
Oh, nice.
Shaun White.
Yeah.
He's a good one. So that's mine.
He's on my list, except he actually takes my number 1 spot, believe it or not.
Whoa.
But since you said it, and look, he's an accomplished Olympian. He was on, obviously a box of Wheaties. He's the flying tomato, man. He is the man. When you think athletic ginger, you think of that sweet, sweet red flow he had going, flying through the air. And on top of that, not just a snowboarder, but skateboarder too. I mean, he did it all. So, but going to my number 3, I actually went back to basketball with Mr. Bill Walton right there. Before he was known as whiny announcer, Mr. Hall of Fame himself, accomplished basketball player Bill Walton, my number 3 spot.
That's funny because my
number.
I cut it off.
Number 2.
That was Bill Walton for me.
Was it? Okay, cool.
But since you already said it, I will switch it up on you. Okay. So starting over, because I have another one. The man who saved baseball, Bert.
Yes.
Big Mac.
Yeah.
Mark McGwire.
Yeah.
Has to be on this list. He saved baseball almost single-handedly.
Yes.
Double-handedly, right?
Double-handedly. Yeah. He was my number 2 as well. I have Mark McGwire on there. And look, I don't care if he did so many steroids that his long gingery pubes just overshadow his tiny shriveled balls. It doesn't matter. I almost said Mark Wahlberg. Mark McGwire single-handedly saved baseball and just hitting bomb after bomb after bomb. And when you think great sports ginger, you have to think Mark McGwire.
Mark McGwire.
Properly rated.
So listen, we got some Justin Turner, Rusty Staub. Yes, love Rusty Staub, one of the great sports names. We have Sheamus from WWE. Of course.
I'll give it.
The one true Irish person who actually speaks like an Irish person. So
yeah,
I think of all the redheads on our list. Yeah, Mark McGwire is definitely a GOAT. Mm-hmm. Sosa saved it too.
Sosa did. It was the race between them, right? Look, Mark started it off, but then that was exciting.
Mark started it off.
Yeah, he was the catalyst, but the competition between the two was fierce.
It was, and Mark was the centerpiece. He was the voice of it, right? Like, if people don't remember, Sammy Sosa was quiet. You know what I mean? He just was just a gentle giant who just swung and hit home runs. But Mark McGwire was the guy, fuck yeah, man. He'd go on ESPN and do all these things, and so that's why. And plus, this is a top 5 ginger, so it's not a top 5 bleach my skin and turn into a cowboy list. When we do that, Sammy Sosa will be number 1. So
he'll be number 1 through 5.
All right, Bert, this is it. I thought long and hard about this one, and there was only one true answer because there's only one person who's dominated their sport unlike any other in the world of the redheads.
Number 1.
The Undertaker. The Undertaker.
I knew it.
The greatest redhead of all time. Nobody has dominated his sport like The Undertaker has dominated professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. Yes, he dyed his hair black, but if you go back to the early 90s, so you kids out there who don't know need to look it up. When the legend was born, he was indeed a redhead.
Very nice. I almost put him on my list too, but it's because he dyed his hair. I couldn't.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's kind of cheating,
but it is what it is. Yeah, but no, I mean, look, no one's had a longer run than him. Yeah, I mean, look, anybody who's going to sit there and say that pro wrestlers aren't athletes or that, since it's scripted or anything, no, these dudes are walking around broken half the time just for our enjoyment. I'll argue that they're more of an athlete than some other sports are. 100%. Plain and simple.
Yeah, it's hard. Ask Bad Bunny. He did about 2 or 3 months of training for pro wrestling, and he shouts them out all the time. So, who's your number one?
That was Shaun White. I had
That was Shaun White. That's right.
Yeah.
I stole yours. Gotcha. So yes, we did leave a few off. Blake Griffin. All right. So is he a redhead?
Honorable mention. No, he's ginger.
Strawberry blondish.
He's ginger. I'll give it to him. Yeah.
All right, so I'll give it to him. Blake Griffin. I mean, for those who don't like, they see him now, but like when he came out, man, I wish he would have developed his game a little bit faster. He just was all athleticism, all dunks. Obviously, when that leaves you, credit to him, he did turn into a 3-point shooter. However, if he would have done that earlier in his career, he could have been legit an all-time great. He's an all-time great spectacle, I think. I think he'll go down as an all-time great athlete in the game. Just because you're the most dominant or best scorer doesn't mean you're the best player. But I think if he did that earlier, he would have been an all-time great, 100%. Carson Wentz, biggest redhead bust. Carson Wentz,
Andy Dalton,
overrated.
I mean, Andy Dalton.
Oh my God, the red rifle.
Yeah. Andy Dalton's there too. I mean, look, there's a lot of them. Yeah.
We got Bob Backlund. Yeah, wrestling great.
Yeah.
Like that.
Clint Frazier is on the Yankees right now, but he's a bust. Let's see. I mean, there's a bunch of hockey gingers too. Clint Frazier. I'm waiting for him to turn his game on. He's a Yankee. Well, Jerm, you remember we saw him go 0 for 3 when he was playing the Phillies.
Clint Frazier.
Overrated.
So,
basically.
Yeah, all that athleticism. Yeah, I mean, one of the greatest athletes. I mean, in recent memory, right? It's got to be Russell Westbrook, Blake Griffin in his prime. Some of these guys just, he just didn't develop fast enough. I forgot about the red rifle, man. Andy Dalton, QB number 1 for those Chicago Bears. So shout out to him.
Carson Palmer, wasn't he a ginger too?
No, he was a brown. He was
brown,
a brunette.
yeah.
Yeah, he was a brown.
Look, there was a bunch of redheaded hockey players too, between like the Sedin twins, Scott Hartnell, Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek. I mean, all Phillies. Gritty's a redhead too, right?
Gritty
may as well.
Yeah, Gritty might be the greatest redhead of all time because he's literally all redhead. So,
I think we have to give that to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Most action at the Yankee game was in the batting cages. No, actually, most action was the fans catching. Yeah. I think Yankees led all foul balls caught, no matter by who the team. So shout out to the all
the Yankee fans that grabbed the foul ball that day. Yeah, they actually made the highlight reel because they were actually catching them. But yeah, God, that was a tough game
fun.
To watch. It was great to go to a game. It was just oof.
100%. Before we get out of here, I posed a question online of who is the most dominant athlete in sports right now. We're talking, Kevin Huerter right now in recent memory. I mean, he's just so dominant. It's unbelievable. So shout out to Red Velvet. Killing the game right now. So, Bert, who in your mind right now is the most dominant?
In all of sports?
All of sports right now.
It has to be Tom Brady. It has
to this day.
Yeah, I mean, granted, he's not playing right at this moment, but the dude went to Tampa Bay and led them to his 7th Super Bowl, right? This is wild. When everybody's cracking jokes when it first happened, like, yo, they're never going to do anything. And then afterwards, everybody's like, oh, no, he had a strong team behind him. But no, he's still Tom fucking Brady. And it pains me to say this because I hate watching him win so much. But at this point, I've just given up and I have to stop hating and start appreciating because it is. He's still a beast at his age. You can't. Yes, there's young talent out there in other sports and there's other individual, but you can't deny 42, 43-year-old Tom Brady still doing his thing and getting it done, plain and simple. So for me, it's still Tom Brady, 100%. Nobody will change my mind on
that. For me, it's Jacob deGrom. What he's doing in baseball on both sides, and they just showed a stat that he has like a 7.24 ERA plus whatever this new metric is, and the highest the second highest ever is like 291. Like everybody's giving you and everybody's agreeing with you that it's Tom Brady. But when you look at these numbers, and maybe it's just me watching Mets baseball, nobody in baseball. I mean, in Shohei Ohtani, and I just sang his praises, and he's probably second. But Jacob deGrom, what he's doing on the mound is unbelievable. It's literally never been seen before.
Yeah.
And so when you put it in that context, it has to be him right now. And so Tom Brady is dominant in a sense of that he continues to win, but like, is that Tom or is that like his massively stacked team? You know what I mean? Like,
bro, it's Tom.
Is he doing? Oh, it's just
Tom.
Okay,
it's like, I see what you're saying. Unfortunately, we're comparing a position where it's like a pitcher where you're on the mound alone and it's you and a batter. So you consider and say that he's the one that's the juggernaut right now. But at the same point, I mean, you still have to give Brady the props, man. He's that old. And like, I mean, look, the one comparative is that they both play once a week, like DeGrom pitches once every 3 or 4 days. So, but overall, like, I get it. He's like, and nothing off DeGrom. He's doing phenomenal things, but for me, regardless if it's a team sport, it's still Tom Brady leading them down. It's not like, I bet you if in any time throughout the season, if Tom went out the game and they put in whoever the backup was, I don't think they'd win. Still, I think they'd lose, and especially in playoff situations too. You have Tom leading them the way. It's just, it can't be. Like, honestly, there's nothing that would make sense to me that Tom's not like literally still the GOAT right now.
So we have a lot of Shohei Ohtani. We have Aaron Donald in the mix. We have Giannis Antetokounmpo in the mix. I'm just reading some of these social. Somebody actually said Simone Biles. She's dominating her sport.
I'll agree with that.
Came in. I'll agree. Yeah. I'll vote for that. I will vote for Simone Biles. She's killing the game. She's on
pace to be one of the best Olympians of all time over Michael Phelps. And she deserves it too. She's doing great things. Boss Man just wrote in breaking Phillies Nats got into it about Joe Girardi asking the umpires to check the Nats pitcher for sticky substances. Okay, Mikey, if you're watching the game, was it like blatant? Was it like blatantly on his neck or something silly that we've seen before?
Or the Phillies getting their ass kicked and he just needs to call like a extended timeout, try to get the morale of his team.
Look, as much of
Joe Girardi's cool. Yeah,
I like him, and that I mean, he played the game before, so that doesn't seem like a thing that he would do unless it's like so blatant he has to have it checked. Do you like
this rule, this thing that they're doing about checking the gloves?
No, and I'll tell you why, right? Because it's been happening so long and it's been this unwritten rule forever. I just think MLB is taking a stand now between the Astros cheating and then the reports that the Yankees are cheating. And they're getting all these reports about, cheating and pitchers and watching signs and using sticky substances. And then they're cracking down on steroids. And it's just like, at this point, they're trying to just do all away with it. But like Pete Alonso said, but hey, every other year you're going to change the ball depending on the draft class because you can't get rid of all cheating and then have nobody hit bombs and have it being a boring game again because nobody's going to watch. So you have to do something, but at least they're doing it legally, quote unquote. So, was Max Scherzer pitching? So they found nothing. So I wonder why he asked then. That's interesting because Girardi doesn't seem like that guy.
This liberal media.
That's why. It's got to be them. Was that
the last one you had to use for everything on the drop board tonight, or do you want to get it all out of your system?
You know what? Yeah, I'm just go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna get it. Yeah. That would have been the perfect one. Oh my God, the Joe Girardi thinks that the Nationals and Max Scherzer are cheating.
Yeah.
Oh no, man, this is crazy. So now the umpires are checking the glove. What did they find? Pine tar. Oh no. So listen, and the rules are changing. So with baseball, yeah, you're right. They're cracking down on the cheating thing. At some point, it's OD. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't do that at the beginning of the game. They know who's pitching that day. It's not a surprise. Hey, before the reliever comes in, have an umpire sit in the back and check his glove before he runs out on the field. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to visualize everything. Just have an extra guy back there checking the gloves and before he runs out there. All this seems like it's just silly to stop the game. That's my problem with it. Like, why are you stopping the game when somebody can simply check the gloves or have an umpire check between innings, check his glove before he runs out there? You don't have to televise it. It can just be done during the commercial break. It doesn't have to be a big deal. When you stop the game, that's where I have a problem with it. It's like you're making a bigger deal out of it than it should be. It reminds me of the XFL when the NFL was so resistant into the sky judges overturning plays.
Mm-hmm.
XFL did it flawlessly. It literally took zero time. And the only reason they televised it was to show you that it worked. It literally didn't change the pace of the game. They didn't take any timeouts. They didn't do anything. It was a quick, hey, you got this wrong. And then the refs said, okay, we got this wrong. And it took 30 seconds. So it's just baseball tries to overdo things. And I think they're doing that, to your point, to show people, hey, we're doing something about this cheating thing. And it just seems counterproductive to me.
I mean, I totally agree with you. Like, just absolutely, do it in private or do it in between, but don't make it televised. Then, if a manager has a complaint, take the complaint, don't stop the game, just keep going. What's weird about this is, like, if it wasn't blatant, like if you didn't see anything or have them flash anything, the only reason you're having them check is because your boys aren't hitting that night. And you think that the other pitcher must be cheating. And granted, it's Max Scherzer. Like, he's a solid pitcher. Like, he's always due for a good outing. So I mean, if Joe thought his boys weren't hitting, and they're just having an off night, man. And Max, I mean, he should be pissed, and honestly, he should be pumped. And then, I mean, look, if I was, I'd be slamming my hat, but I'd get back into it. I'd throw darts, and then I'd talk shit to the dugout all day long. Like, I don't need anything to beat you bums, Bryce Harper, take a seat, clown.
Dear baseball players, talk more shit to each other, man. I love it.
Please, I mean, make baseball interesting again. Like, get on first, and then I want to see you in that other dude's face just talking shit. I don't want to see smiles or, sharing seeds or hand sanitizer, none of that shit. I want to see straight shit talking to the point where you want to beat each other up.
Bat flips on your way to first, man.
Make bat flips great again.
Who cares?
I want bat flips. I want stare downs. I want celebrations going into home that just irk a catcher off or a pitcher off.
Point right at the pitcher. Just point right in his face as you run to first base.
Pull an old school Bryce Harper and just start blowing kisses at the pitcher. If you want to talk someone who made it exciting, even as he was coming up through the minors, it is Bryce Harper. As he's rounding first, looking back at the pitcher, blowing him a kiss. Like, I want more of that. I want more showboating.
But you know what happened? The baseball purists and the elitists dumbed them down and
they wanted to keep baseball boring.
John Tucker says Pistons won the draft lottery. So there's a kid out there, Jalen Green, who I believe is going to win the scoring title in the NBA one day, and he would be perfect for the Pistons because the Pistons are one of those teams that, if they're good, the NBA is better, just like the Lakers and some Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers. I throw the Detroit Pistons in that mix. So shout out to Detroit. I mean, they've had it rough. I mean, they just lost Blake Griffin, their franchise player. They're in prime position to draft another one, and I hope it's Jalen Green because I think he has the ability to do that for them. They need a star. Small markets need a star, as we see in these NBA finals. Cheating is part of baseball. I mean, I guess, it's part of their history. I don't know if it's part of the game. It's just part of the history that's been allowed. And so to the point where it makes people think it's acceptable when it's probably not. I don't know if it's part of baseball. I just think it's been.
Well, it is. It's built. I mean, if they've done nothing about it up until now, it's baked into the history. If you're going to tell me that nobody knew, which I know is horseshit, but nobody knew about sticky substances and Garrett Cole and other players are using it from this one athletics. He wasn't a trainer. He was like an equipment manager that had been doing that job for almost 40 years. 40 years. And that players from all teams would text him about, the substance he used, the certain type of pine tar. And you're going to sit here and so it is kind of baked in. If the players know about it, then the coaches and the managers know about it. And if they know about it, you better believe executives know about it. And if execs know about it, the league knows about it. Cut the shit. MLB did this to themselves. They tried to play, we're the good old American sport. We're going to crack down on steroids because they're illegal drugs, but then keep all this other cheating involved. And I bet you the only reason they cracked down, and when I say crack down on the Astros cheating scandal, meaning, we're going to suspend the general manager and the actual manager for a year, but none of the players get any type of slap on the wrist. They have to do a public apology and, of course, a tour of shame last year with empty stadiums all around. So now we're going through a second tour this year. The MLB doesn't give a shit. They're just doing it now because now everybody's in an uproar and, they're making MLB look bad, but it's been baked into their culture. Whoever said that, I completely agree with them. It's a part of baseball now, Rant over.
So That was a good rant, and that's why I didn't stop you. And you're absolutely right about every single thing you said. And I'm not going to add anything to it because I think you dismounted it perfectly.
I've rendered you speechless. That's a first.
That is a first. Well, sometimes you literally said everything that I was going to say. So,
Okay,
that doesn't, and that's a first because I usually have something to say about everything, and you nailed it. And I think
Rob Manfraud, bum,
man fraud. This guy, I can't wait for him to be gone, bro. It's
join the club, man.
Actually, no. Nolan Ryan talks about all the time, just spider tech about pine tar. I mean, yeah. Listen, when the Astros won, they cheated. Hey, listen, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I'll play devil's advocate. Screw it. No. Bert, also breaking news, real quick. A couple quick hits before we get out of here. NCAA Supreme Court just passed something that players are one step closer to getting paid, and which is about time. I mean,
unanimously, the Supreme Court agreed that not compensating NCAA players and making a profit off of them actually violates some sort of antitrust law. So get ready, college players, D1 athletes that are making money for your school. You're about to get a payday, and I couldn't be more about it. I could not. I think it's the best thing ever. If you're going to devote all of and yes, most of you are getting free rides. You're on scholarship. You deserve that too, because being a student athlete means a time commitment that most people are not aware of. And on top of that, putting your body through a process that sometimes won't even lead to professional status in sports too. So they should be getting compensated in one way, shape, or form.
And we have to stop this. They're getting a free ride to college. Like that stuff was important in like the 70s and the 80s. It's not important now.
Not even like the 90s too. But I mean, it's a bad argument to make.
It's an awful argument. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
That's
those
why
free rides those free rides mean nothing to those schools. That's like
chump
change. It's chump change. It literally, the value that those players, that return on investment for the school is got to be at least 10 times 10. So to stop it with this, they get a free ride to college. No, those college courses or campuses make so much money off these players. That's why Nick Saban is allowed to live in an $80 million house, buy it for free. You know what I mean? It's literally, those bricks are made off the backs of those players, and nowhere else in America can any business get away with agreeing to not pay their workers a fair market rate on anything. You can't do it, and that's the Supreme Court's argument. Hey, what you're doing is technically illegal. So pay these guys some way. They should make money at the very bare minimum. They should be allowed to use their platform to go do a local car commercial, make money off their likeness. They should make money off their jersey sales if they're selling jerseys with on that college campus. But if you're not going to pay them directly, at least allow them to have their own sponsors. Let them go out there and sign autographs and get paid for it. Like the school technically doesn't have to do anything. You just let them go out there and make their own money. Let the kids make money off their own backs and let that be that. I don't know why that was never allowed to be a thing anyway. Well,
because the NCAA and the colleges didn't want to give up their money.
Right. Kenny the Jet Smith told a story back when he was in college. He used to make T-shirts, and the college made him stop because he was making so much money making and selling T-shirts. Like he couldn't even have a side hustle. Like it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous sentiment, and I'm glad that they're changing that, because it's totally unfair to the players and all of that other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's funny, we were talking about rule changes. NBA is about to make the jump shooters who like jump into players to draw a defensive foul, that will now be ruled as an offensive foul. Like when you jump and you kick your leg out, which is great. So Curry, Meekins, your Atlanta Hawks, it's over for them because that's all they did. That's literally all they did all series. No more.
I like how they started with like, let's give credit where credit is due, and now you're sitting and going, you bums.
Well,
this is how you won, you bums.
They ought to get. That's right, because that's their only move. So Trey Young is he's gonna have to learn some different tactics if he's gonna try to advance into the playoffs next time, buddy. But yeah, enough of that. So last thing, Bert, NBA playoffs. The game 2 of the Western Conference Finals just kicked off. We have
Underway.
the Clippers, the Suns, the Bucks, and the Hawks, right? The final 4 teams.
Yep.
Who do you have winning it all out of those 4?
I mean, logically, I would say the Bucks, right? But
yes,
I can't get Suns in 4 out of my head after that dude literally punched the lights out of those
and there was
Denver
another
fans.
fight.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Suns. I am, just for the shit of it. Let's go. Let's go, Arizona.
You're right, man. I was picking the Suns or the Bucks because of Giannis and just how he's played. However, I'm Team Suns, man. We have some Hawks votes. Obviously, Meekins, Brandon DeWitt says Hawks. Cree says Suns, Hawks in the finals.
I mean, even if you look at it this way, like a couple months ago, we did our top 5 mascots, right? And the Suns mascot was on there, and none of the other ones were. So if we just pick off our favorite mascots, let's go with that. That's fine.
We'll do it. There we go. The Suns with their gorilla mascot that doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
We will here at Stuff About Sports. We technically have the Phoenix Suns logo inside our logo. It's a ball on fire, and that's technically what the Suns logo is.
Though it's not, just for copyright purposes.
Not
the same one.
We don't have the little spiky things on there.
No.
Here we go, Bert. The Carl Nassib news, I guess, is great, but I don't know how it's going to work in the locker room. I don't know if I would want that distraction.
Shut up. Someone.
That guy.
Yeah, you are that guy. Enough.
Someone commented that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't put it on.
Get the fuck out of here. There is no distraction. Shut up, you doof.
Yes, thank you. Good dismount for the show, Bert. This was awesome. Everybody who's joined us in the comment section, even the Hawks fans. I only got. Matter of fact, the Hawks are birds. If I ever saw a hawk out in my yard, this is what I'd do to it. Enough of the Hawks. So listen, guys, thank you so much for supporting us. Please go check out the network, giveusashot.network/shop. Please pick up the Give Us a Shot rainbow shirt. Donate to all of our LGBT causes and support them because they support us. And so we want to do a good thing for the community. And until then, we will talk to you next week.